it's not a linear process. You're always going to go off the path that you think you're supposed to be on. So I think it's really important to just completely surrender to every day and just accept everything that comes to you, because you never know where you're going to end up, especially when um, you have your whole career ahead of you. You can't be locked into any kind of predisposition of who you're going to be or where you're going to be either.
I've got our guest here today. It's Rose, and she's going to tell us a bit about the theme that we're on, which is basically ambition, what that means to people, and maybe what they're working on these days. So, yeah, we'll just turn it over and a little chat. Over to you, Rose. How you going?
Yeah, good. Thank you for having me. Very happy to be here. I think I'm probably the most ambitious person I know. Could chat about it for days. So, very happy to be here.
Nice. So I guess obviously this is just early days for getting guests coming through, but we've had you come in because you're experienced in the world of media, and we do have our studio here, and we're doing video editing, lots of creative, and I think it's just helping people that are creative and want to get started with things, and from your point of view, where are you at in your journey of life, and skill development and creating things? What are you working on these days?
Yeah, well, I think being on this journey is never a linear process, and I think you're always going to be at the beginning. It's always going to be, every new day is something that you can explore and create, and you can make anything of yourself. So for me, I'm very much at the beginning of my career, and with that, I'm completely grateful for everything that I have previously achieved and experienced. Um, but I'm very young, and that's lucky for me, because it means that I can have the whole world as my oyster. But yeah, every single day I'm like, what am I going to do today? What am I going to do in a year? What am I going to do in 10 years? And I never have any um, solid goals. And I think that's a bit of a controversial opinion, to have a solid goal, because I think if you lock yourself into some expectation like that, you can get disappointed with yourself if you're not heading in that direction completely. And again, it's not a linear process. You're always going to go off the path that you think you're supposed to be on. So I think it's really important to just completely surrender to every day and just accept everything that comes to you, because you never know where you're going to end up, especially when you have your whole career ahead of you. You can't be locked into any kind of predisposition of who you're going to be or where you're going to be either. It just makes it that much more fun as well, not knowing where you're going to go.
That's great. That's great. I'm glad that you touched on a couple of points there. I mean, we've chosen this theme as a bit of something that people could hopefully relate to, and yeah, I think ambition is by default. I think people think about, it's like, what maybe should I be doing, or society has a certain view
Mm.
on that. But yeah, it's we want it to be light too. We want people to feel like it's just maybe the journey is like to and from, right? It's not always like a straight path,
Yeah.
and there's obstacles and all those fun things. But yeah, it's just, that's the fun thing. I think people can get discouraged pretty quickly, and they realize like, oh, can't relate to. I don't really have any ambition, or that person over there is pretty ambitious, and
Yeah.
I have a general feeling that people don't identify so much with that. But it's a missed opportunity, because it's more about like, well, you got plans for something, and it's maybe just what is it that in this moment, or like
Yeah.
what's on the horizon. I don't know. I think it's just one of those things you could chat about. Like, well,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Well, ambition is really subjective as well. It can also come from a really privileged background. People measure what success means to you or to them, and you inherit what that success means. People think ambition is to create a giant company that's going to earn millions, billions of dollars, or ambition could be for someone to have a family one day. It's completely subjective, and I think it's important to be self-aware enough to realize, or even start to think about what fuels that fire. Um, and there's no measurement of ambition. You can be a little bit, you can be a lot, just as long as you are constantly moving and your goal is constantly to better yourself. And that's what ambition is. It's just, how can I do better and be better every single day? That's what ambition is to me, anyways.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's good. It'd be interesting to see, I mean, how this evolves and, how different people can have a take on it. I mean, I'd be fine if someone said, look, I don't have any ambition, or my ambition
Yeah.
is to uh, do as little as possible. I
Yeah.
mean, some people, and sometimes I think of that too. It's like, man, I wish um, I could be just totally at one with that one thing I really want to do,
Yeah.
which is, yeah, this is Australia, so perhaps it's just like I just want no external obligations.
Yeah.
I want to get up, I want to go do my routine. Maybe it's a gym workout, whatever, or pretty much just get in and do some surfing or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think people should feel like there's some obligation to get up and do something. Yeah, if it's a passion project, absolutely don't deny that, right?
Mhm.
So that's why we had a chat a little bit on the warm up about like, what you're passionate about, and I think it's kind of neat because those things can evolve and
Yeah.
they can be related to your skills, or you want to try something new and pick something at any time. So, what if I want to just throw a question at you?
Sure.
What is something that might be on your horizon in terms of something new you might start?
Mhm.
Is there anything that's out there that you're not doing now, but at some point you might look at starting it?
Yeah. Um, yeah, well, absolutely. I was actually thinking about it not too long ago. And I was just kind of sitting with myself and I was like, what are the things that have been consistently making me happy? And I think about it and I think music, animals, and food. And I do categorize things into my personal ambitions, my career ambitions, and other. And I'm like, what do I want around me every single day? And that's music, good music. And it isn't necessarily within my world at the moment, but I would love to um, own a recording studio one day with the separate arms of licensing, distribution, and potentially music video services as well. So very overly ambitious, but either way, I'll take it. But just facilitating an area for creatives to be who they want to be, and I want to be able to be that good guy who has pure intention of just, you want to be better, let me help you be better. It's not about the money, it's not about the status, it's about being around these incredible people and just sharing the beauty of like what music is, bringing it back to, a recording studio back in the 70s, like that tangible experience of just fueling everything inside you. And that's what I want to be around every single day. So I will work until I get there.
That's so cool. Like, obviously, I can definitely relate because I feel like that's something that we've done in a sense of just taking an interest and then building it out. You've got a lot more driving it, so I think that'll be interesting to follow your journey and see how that all goes. Like, I'm just curious, like, what's the first step with something like that? Is it intimidating and it feels far away, or does it actually feel close because of the passion and you can kind of explore things? Like, how do you go from here?
Well, it's completely intimidating for sure. You're always going to have this sense of, but I'm so much further behind than someone else right now. But that just, I want to take that on as more of a, okay, so what? So where are you going to go now? What are you going to do? Let that be like a platform to say, okay, you're not where you want to be, so how are you going to get there? Yeah, so I think like if you do have that intention and you stick to your guns and you stick to work that makes you happy, you're inevitably going to go towards that direction anyways. In saying that, not everything is in your control, so you have to be proactive and you have to actively bring that kind of content in your life. Like, for example, in my downtime, I'm looking at Australian artists and I'm looking at Australian music content, what's being licensed, what's being distributed, what issues people are having as well with their ownership, with their rights, that kind of thing. The whole thing with like Taylor Swift and Scooter Braun, this whole ridiculous argument. And it's like, okay, it's presented to you as a good guy and a bad guy situation. And it's true, you know, these artists are being taken advantage of. And I'm like, I just want to take everything in that I wouldn't do and make me a better boss and a better producer. Um, and then I think with every little step like that, inching closer and closer towards that goal, just adding little parts to your day and then just slowly getting there, whatever way it takes you.
Cool. Yeah. Wow. That's good. I think I've got a lot to learn about that specifically. You know, about that. But I like the feel good aspect of it, and it's like, you know, there's enough conflict and, you
Yeah.
know, selfish take on, you know, what about me, and
Yeah.
put money in my pocket, and it's like, I think that time is so over. But
Yeah.
that's just me. And yeah, I think that'd be great if people start going down that path of like collaboration and just kind of like, what are we producing here, and just like get that out there. And everyone, I think there's enough to go around once you're all super successful. But
Exactly.
people are funny with the greed and all of that.
Oh yeah, it's addictive to them.
But in listening to you, I was just curious about obviously there's like a solo aspect, like, you know what you want, you know, you're taking in lots of inputs and things, but like, is there someone else that you take on that journey? Like, it's a group of friends, or like maybe just like someone, like a role model that you follow? I'm just curious, do you take a whole bunch of people on this journey that you want, or is it more of a solo mission just to get there first and then work it out?
I have very strong opinions about the idea of role models. I think this idea of placing anyone on a pedestal is quite toxic. I think everyone is human and everyone makes mistakes, right? So your best role model should be you. You should always be the best intentioned person that you know. You should always strive to be better. I think with that process, you attract the kind of people that you want around you as well. If you're doing good work, you're going to bump into other people that are doing good work, right? And it's so important to listen to your gut and who you work well with and who you have aligned morals with as well. I haven't necessarily met that group of people or persons as of yet, but I'm also like under the sorry, let me start again. I also really believe that if you find that person that you click with, and if you have all of the same intentions, then sharing everything and sharing loyalty is so important. It's so important to me. And the more minds to a business and the more work and dedication to a business, the better. You can never have enough people. I think you'd be silly to just try and stay by yourself. But yeah, it's not necessarily easy to find people like that click with you. So just only allowing good people into your life and into your professional life as well is just the key to be surrounded by people that are only going to lift you and your business and everything up.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's a good learning. You know, you can always just try things, and,
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, I think that there's it's just interesting, and people have different takes on it if they try to climb the mountain by themselves, or, you know, if you take a bunch of people with you, is that more people to carry?
Yeah.
Or is like there's some kind of psychological burden of like, you know, so I guess there's a motivation aspect of things. You know, these people that are trying to achieve things in life, and maybe it's personal training, and, you know, people are telling you, well, have you gone to the gym yet today? And
Yeah.
like, oh no, I haven't. And it's like, you know, it's that whatever it takes to move you along, right?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
but yeah, no, cool. Very, very cool. So, recording studio on the horizon.
Yeah, hopefully.
Do you have a name for it? I'll keep it secret yet.
I don't have a name for it yet. I've always had this identity crisis because when I was a kid till about kindergarten, my whole family called me baby. And I had to go back to my birth name, and it never sat right with me since then. So now I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to name it, but it'll come to me. I'll have the light bulb moment.
Very cool. Are you a visual person?
I am, yes, massively visual, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I guess we'll just we'll stay tuned and follow what you're up to. Feel free. We'll include links if you want to share those kind of things. And
Thank you.
yeah, appreciate you coming in and just kind of taking us through what's up. And hopefully we'll see you again.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Okay, cool. See you later.
See ya.